So I think we're live. Let me just check a couple things here. Hmm. Okay, good. So you can hear me. Um, Somebody asked, anyone know how the catalog thingy on the side is supposed to work? Hmm. I don't know. I've had a whole day of I don't understand Twitch and computers, and so I'm the last person that needs to answer questions like that. Just essentially had to call Justin, which I hate doing. It's his day off. Had to call Justin and figure out how to change the description in the Twitch because I don't think I've been able to do it once correctly since I started on Saturdays. So today I was going to really do it, and then I couldn't even find how to get to the Reaper section. I finally found it, but I still never found how to change the description, so Justin did it for me. Um, but I'm finding how to do it in a way that makes the VOD say what the video is, I think, unless somebody's correcting it for me. So yeah, a whole day of technical stuff. You know what these are? These are like little yogurt cup glasses. And I use them for, I think they're called dapping dishes and nails. Uh, like acetone most of the time. I kind of use them for everything. It's so neat. Um, so let's see. Hi everybody. So yeah, on Thursday I just had a migraine. And it's like not just a migraine, but not to trivialize it for anybody that has them, but it happens sometimes, and it's usually too rough to do much of anything. But it's pretty rare, luckily. So I wasn't there for Reaper Live. Sorry, I'm gonna take my other little headphone out. But I'm sure y'all had enough fun without me. So that's pretty much it. Been back to work all this week, half of last week, so things are starting to kind of shake out and get normal again. I'm still not like, I can hardly believe this, but I'm still not all the way healed yet, but I am for the most part. I can walk around, without discomfort for the most part. It's just wild. That's pretty much it. I'm working on ReaperCon and possibly some last minute Kickstarter. I have it completed for the most part, but production really doesn't want extra of the Kickstarter colors. So they're kind of like pumping and building and checking and pumping and building and checking. So that's that. I'm making it sort of to order for the people that are assembling it. Hi, Edrijai. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to get back to working on this lady, and then, I don't know, hopefully finish, if not today, then just real soon. I got this whole new setup today, because, God, I just can't resist setting up something new every time, but I'm kind of wanting to be closer. Maybe it's a nearsighted thing, but I think I've said this before, but I would paint so much better like this. Like that's how I paint at home. You can hardly even see it, but like on my chest, but that's not as interesting. So probably not very good for me. All right, so let me see if I can get you guys a close look and me a close look at the same time. Perfect. Oh, I'm happy to have you here, Nomad Zeke. I'm happy things are getting back to normal. Let's see. So, I did the orange High Planar Crossroads. I'm not super just in love with the orange. So I was looking at the mini before I started and I thought, what would I do to the orange today? I think I'm going to try and just neutralize it. Now, that would involve using blue in sort of a thinned out or very precise way. So that's going to be the plan for that. I work so messy. A big part of my process has been like decide what it should be, clean up, change my mind, clean up. And that's probably why it takes so long. So maybe today I'll be extra careful and focused and try and keep paint where I want it. I mean, obviously it's not going to be perfect, but try and keep paint where I want it and see where that gets me as far as having sort of a neat blocked out canvas or whatever, mini. Hi Valander. Hi Francis. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Unfortunately this week, we've got two people that work here that are married, and one's grandpa passed away, and they're going to have to go to the funeral out of state. And it's so sad because he was just really hanging on. So, I mean, it's always sad. It's such a rough time. But they're going to be out this week, so I'm going to step in on pumping paint. So this week's going to be kind of new and exciting, or old and exciting, really, because I'm going to be the paint pumper. We'll see how much. It probably just depends on who can pull themselves away from what they're doing. Oh, thank you, the mighty Jabberwock. But yeah, I'm really sad for them. I just hear lots of stories and about this grandpa, and I'm pulling for him. What? Nomad Zeke says, was in hospital since super early yesterday with unplanned surgery, home and recovering now. So this is a good chill show to watch. Oh my God, I hope you're okay. Unplanned surgery is never good. Well, I mean, I guess it's better than the alternative, but I hate that. And I've just realized kind of how serious emergency surgery would have to be, because think about all the stuff you're supposed to do when you have a surgery coming up, and for the benefits to outweigh the risks of whatever, like not prepping for surgery. That's wild. Let's see. The only one I ever had was I had my appendix taken out when I was a kid, and that was, I think, if I remember correctly, like 24 hours after I was admitted or whatever. Yes, we hope you get well soon. We're pulling for you. All right, I'm going to try and make my skin color. I was looking back and somebody posted it in the Discord when we still had the Painting Platinum Discord channel thing. So I'm hoping this is it. I tend to kind of overmix and go crazy and then forget what I used. So it was really, really nice of that person to do that. I don't remember who it was. I think I do, but I don't want to say incorrectly because I associate names. Pendrick, yes. I sometimes associate names of people together that are not the same people. Nomad Zeke says I got the good pain meds though, so that's fun. Yeah, me too. Like that was part of what really took me off track was, I think, pain meds, because I would forget. I would get so sleepy. I would forget if I took my antidepressant. I really didn't take it a whole lot. And I take the antidepressant for anxiety, but I really got back on it for headaches. So that might be kind of what I'm up against now. I mean, or not. I get migraines anyway, but it's been so hard to just get back into normal. And I had the thing that people say that I had never experienced, which is that when I took the pain medicine, I got itchy. Are you itchy? Or are you doing pretty well? it's something I don't remember from being a kid, like having any kind of reaction to any medication or stopping any medication. And I don't know if that's due to not being as bodily aware, or if it's just when you're a kid, you're really resilient and things don't matter as much. I was not able to get my skin color. I might have put too much of something in there. So I'm going to try one more time with just 1 drop of everything. And I think I might need 2 drops of my darker purple. But my skin color was made up of, and if you'll remember, we're using Pathfinder paints. Let me pull those down. So Hodad green, Mana Waste gray, Sugathi purple, and Mwangi brown. This is one that I believe Anne uses. I think she uses it with ebony skin, ebony flesh. So that's always good. So I think that's really what drew me to it, is that's one that I've heard Anne talk about. In the coming week, I hope to nail down the ReaperCon colors and show you guys and be able to talk about those a little bit, because I think you're going to like them. What you'll start to see is I don't do just a whole lot of the deciding what colors to make for paint, because I'm not to the point yet where I know what's just really useful. And that's my sort of weak point with that. Like, something could be really, really cute, but not necessarily useful on a large scale. That's where Ron and Anne and Ed kind of have that going on. So Ron usually picks the colors for ReaperCon, and Ed, I always joked about a RVE being Reaper Virtual Ed edition, because Ed kind of chose all the colors for that. So you can kind of see the difference not only in the themes, but I like to think there's a style people have in their palettes they pick out. I think you can kind of look at them and be like, oh, whoa, like that's so different. And but yeah, so well, thank you, Nomad Zeke, but no, you never have to do that. Drowsy, apparently a tad combative even when medically unconscious, according to a nurse. Okay, so I've heard that's a thing, and I've seen that with some family members. Like when my grandpa was in the hospital, what happened with him is they had him on Ativan to sleep, which is like pretty hardcore, and I think they worried about giving it to him in the hospital, so they didn't. And when they did, they gave him like an itty bitty little dose of it. And he had these crazy nightmares and got wild and had to be restrained. And I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It might have just been surgery or anesthesia or something else, but it was really scary. And he was like a really nice guy. So I don't know. He just went a little nutty. Valander said Ed did a good job. And you did a good job making them. Every single RVA paint is useful, and some Aoki steel and tungsten plating are useful beyond measure. I love that Aoki steel. If I remember correctly, I tried to make that kind of a really bright, light, what's it called? Like a highlight silver, because I had some people asking about that. Wow. So antidepressants really worked for Francis for migraines. I had this, like, I almost hate saying it, but like had this journey with headaches. I don't remember what year it was, but maybe it was like 2014. I had a headache for like 2 months. I had a headache for such a long time. I was having so many headaches, and I was really nervous about what it could be, and I think it was largely exacerbated by stress. But I had found out that this guy I dated right after I graduated had really bad brain cancer, and I think he'd just passed away. Like, he moved back to the Pacific Northwest. You know, all this happened, and you kind of check in with people, whatever. And yeah, like, he had passed away. And when that stuff happens around me, usually I'm like, man, I should really check myself out and make sure. Like, normally you just be like, well, I have headaches. I know lots of people who have headaches every day. And that's even something one doctor told me is, I have headaches every day. It's not like the weirdest thing ever. Um, so, so I got an MRI, and my doctor told me, he was like, don't get an MRI. It's probably nothing. And the problem with MRIs is you might find something incidental that you never would have known about and that might never be a problem. And I'm sure this is just like one philosophy, right? That it might never be a problem. You might kind of fixate on it, might really scare you, or like I'm kind of a hypochondriac, especially unmedicated. And at the time I was not taking an antidepressant for anxiety. Or you just find something else to sort of worry about. So I was like, okay, well, I won't get an MRI. And then I just had a horrible, they call them ice pick headaches, I think, where you just have, just a, whatever, like just a sharp instant headache that just goes right away. And it was so weird that I called and made the appointment. I was like, you know what? I do want an MRI. So, I went, I had the MRI, and the lady that worked there, like the technician, said, if it's anything really bad, we'll call you tonight. And I thought, that's kind of weird. Maybe not. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. But it turned out that I have this, I have a Chiari malformation, which is, I don't remember if I've ever talked about this before, but it's apparently not as rare as they once thought it was, but is somewhat rare. So they used to think it was every 1 in 1,000 people, but as they give people more imaging for other things, like if you bump your head or whatever, they find it more. So I think it's so you have your skull, right? And you have a hole at the bottom of your skull where your spine connects. And it's where part of your brain herniates through that foramen magnum is what it's called. And mine was like 10 millimeters. So one thing that it did is it kind of like squashed a little bit of my hypochondria. But when all was said and done, they really weren't sure that my headaches I was having were indicative of that being symptomatic as much as just migraines. So the only treatment that I know of is to have surgery, like a decompression, and they didn't think I needed it. So I kind of just try and put it out of my thoughts, So what kind of sucks about it is anytime I have a particularly bad migraine, I go into this place where I'm like, not overly concerned about it, but kind of like, ugh, is this the next thing that I have to deal with? Like, I think the longer you can wait to have procedures like that, the better, because they're still learning so much about it. So this leg color obviously is not the right one, and it's going to shift darker, but you know what? I can't get exactly what I had before, and I obviously can't go back and watch the VOD right now, so I figure we'll just start a little different on the leg and maybe build it up, like change it a little. But yeah, so all that to say, I don't know. When I was a kid, I never had a headache that I couldn't get rid of with one of anything. I've never had to take a whole dose of pain medication. So this is relatively new, like within the past 10 years at least. But yeah. Sky smog haze, a salmon color, just purchased and was hoping for a salmon color. Oh, I don't think so. I think Sky Smog. Now I can't remember, but I think it's sort of a rich tan, if I'm not mistaken. Like, might be a good wood color. I'm gonna have to, you know what? I might have a swatch of it here in the computer. Valander says, when I was active duty, at one point I had 3 to 4 headaches per week. They ended up telling me, we're going to run tests to see if it's vascular migraines, neurological migraines, or you're faking it. Vascular, you stay in. Neurological, you get medically discharged. And faking it, you get court-martialed. Turned out to be vascular. And what did they say about vascular? Oh, you get to stay in. Okay, turned out to be vascular. So I got meds that only slightly worked and stayed in the core. Whoa. It's definitely an experience. Let's see. Well, oh yeah. So I was gonna look at I might have those colors. Oh no. Oh no. Computer illiteracy. What did I do? I don't think I do. I might have deleted them. Stream. Boop, boop, boop. Yeah, I think I deleted them. Shoot. Okay. Well, yeah, I wish I could tell you. I don't think it's a salmon, but it is a really pretty useful color. I think it's hard to recommend a salmon because I don't think we necessarily have one. Let me think about that. It might be one of our oranges. Let's see. Crow and Bones. Hey Sadie, glad I caught the stream today. I received an order of paints today, mostly Anne recommended colors, but I had to get more Mantis Gray. I love all the RVE colors so much. I'm going to need to get backups of all of them. They're so good. I love that. I super love that. I think Mantis Gray. I'm trying to think of his Mantis Gray. I think Mantis Gray was trying to recreate an HD color that was super popular. Like, people kind of kept writing about it to me. So I think that's what the Mantis Gray was. I won't say what it was, but that it's very useful in its own way. Red Neon Glow is an orangey salmon. Oh, it is. That is true. Red Neon Glow. Yes. So yeah. I would like to get a replacement for Bright Skin, the Bright Skin Triad in there, because that's a conversation I had with Anne. Somebody had ordered from a retailer Bright Skin, and they thought they had a stock of it, but they didn't, and they were asking for an alternative. And I really don't like to bother Anne too much, but I was just stumped. I could not find, everything was just either slightly more muted or slightly off. And it turns out when I talked to Anne, she was like, that's kind of one of the ones that there's not really a replacement for, which sucks. So within the next few promotional releases, I'd like to get a replacement for that. Guys, I have not figured out what's up with this lady's hand. If these are like bandages or if she's holding something. Sorry, I'm probably not in a space where you can see very well. I'm going to pretend it's skin, and then maybe it will kind of reveal itself to me as we go on, because while I have this skin color mixed, it'll be easier just to pop it on there. And if it ends up being this weird bandagey material, I can do that pretty easily. I'm super excited about the Reapercon colors. Let's see. My partner gets chronic migraines. Ginger extracts are helpful, as well as super dark chocolate. Yeah, I might have to try that. for the most part, I don't have too much of a problem. One thing that does trigger it for me is if I'm already kind of having a day where it might happen, if I wear headphones all day, it does weird stuff. Like these headphones, like the squeezy headphones. So when I would do painting platinum and Reaper Live the same day, I would often have migraines the day after. CBD salves, Epsom salt soaks. Let's see. Black Blue Pro Color. Not a pro paint. Let's see. Mantis Gray. Yeah, not a pro paint, though we have been kind of going back into pro paints and getting inspired by some of those. Some of those became MSP paints, or at least similar. But a lot of people really liked the metallics in pro paints. We don't have all the same materials. That's the only kind of weird thing is we don't have all the same materials, so we'll reformulate them with what we have now. And not only that, I'm trying to think. Ron told me that there were like 2 versions of pro paints. Like we had the old pro paints and new pro paints. So, which seemed familiar, but I wasn't around for that. So yeah, that's what we've got going there. Let's see, what am I gonna do? I'm gonna go back over this staff. I'm pretty much just trying to cover white space. And I've got a mag lamp at a really weird angle, so it's kind of hard for me. I might even have to, let's see, I hate doing this, but serpentine shadow. Now I can't remember what that was. Serpentine shadow. One color I never did get to try before it disappeared. Hoping something comes close comes back. I'll have to check that out. Oh, it was in that reptilian greens triad. Yeah, I'll have to see if I can't hunt that down. I'm in the process of swatching like every paint ever, or at least trying to, which is a huge project and takes a lot longer than I thought. Like I was like, okay, well, if I just take like, I don't know, I did some crazy math and I was like, this should just take an afternoon. And it takes way more than an afternoon. There's so many paints. They're all over the place. It's awful. But now that you mentioned that, I think I have seen a bottle of that. So Nomad Zeke, the only thing is, I know some people don't like a really bright metallic because I was talking to Anne about it and I asked her a long time ago, how come we don't make a hair color that's metallic, because the way the hair catches light, whatever. And she said, well, that's because if you, I'm going to turn this lamp off. I think I'm just going to get this lamp out of here for a little bit. Sorry for all the last minute changes. Let's see. Got wires everywhere. Okay. But she was saying that when you use a metallic, the light is determined by kind of like where you are relative to the mini. Like it goes up and down. So, is my little lamp not working? Oh, I'm not pushing the right button. Okay. Exactly. So it doesn't look like hair. And also you can't really determine the highlights as easily. So I know that some people like a really bright metallic and some people like a metallic that's more subtle. So what I've been doing with the last few metallics is making them as bright as possible, which just means that they don't have as much pigment and they're not going to maybe cover as well, but they're going to be really, really bright and pretty and sparkly. I think there's a color that's coming up in the ReaperCon paints that's a little softer, mostly because it's very dark. And in order to create that dark color and a metallic base, it's got quite a bit of pigment in it. So it's left me kind of thinking, how would I classify this? If it's less pigmented, obviously the MSP formula has metallics. So it's not as if a new formula would be MSP. So I would call it bones if I had to call it anything. I know that there are less. The lines contain multiple different types of colors. So it's less about bones or MSP. There'll be more or less coverage or pigmented throughout the line anyway. They're not, super, what's the word? Just super the same. They're all a little bit different. So I guess I don't have to classify them as much. But I am trying to incorporate some of the things that people who like MSP would like because, I don't know, it's easy to get into sort of an all or nothing mentality where it's like, okay, well, obviously bones is better because it's high coverage and you can just thin it down if that's what you want to do, whatever. But a nice sheer color does have really good uses. So yeah, I'm trying to do different stuff with it. And I think what that will mean is that within a set like the ReaperCon colors, because used to we would only have a triad for each ReaperCon. Now we're building up into these boxes, these swag boxes, whatever. We're putting a lot more paints in there, which is kind of fun. So that means I have more to work with. I don't believe there will ever be triads in the same way as they're used to, just because, and I believe I've talked about this before, you could think of 3 new colors, but if you tried to put them in a triad, you would probably come close to something we've already had, especially if it's something like a red. So that's kind of the deal with triads. There's something kind of special that I'm working on for ReaperCon that's in I'll just say like a fantasy skin tone sort of area that I'm trying to make that almost like a triad. Like they're different colors, but I'm trying to make that like a triad. Almost like the, what was the triad? There was a triad of purple, saffron, and green. 2 triads need to exist, taupe and salmon. I love taupe. I super love taupe. Ashen brown is really nice. That's in the Kickstarter new colors. And it's a good one. And then Brinewind brown, I think, is one of my favorites that I've made. But I haven't used them on minis much, so I can't really speak to, again, like I'm not great at the usefulness of them. I need to paint more. If I painted more, it'd be a whole lot better. Sorry. Every time I do this, I think of so many things. I'm like, what would be better is if I had something to secure my mini, or do you know what would be better if I thought of a plan? And then as soon as it's done, I just don't do anything about it. Even if I sit down to do something about it, I really don't get that much done. The only thing I've gotten done as far as stream-wise is I worked on an overlay for spring that isn't so like dungeony purple. That was more like bright and fun and airy. But I don't know if I'll use it yet. And I'm trying to make my color star. It's at home, so I can't really show it off. But if you've seen it before, there was this book. It was called The Color Star. And my great-grandmother, it's one of the art books that was left to me when she passed when I was a teenager. And it's a color wheel in the form of a star with these overlays that you put onto the star with cutouts, and it shows you different color schemes. So it's pretty cool. And I'd like to make something that's sort of similar that I could show on stream to help us pick the next color. Even if, like, let's say I didn't have a theme going, if I didn't have a plan in the way that when you read the Learn to Paint kits, Rhonda lists a plan. Okay, so this is my first attempt at taking this orange down. Like, I'm not crazy about this orange. So I thinned out a blue. It doesn't, nope, that's just blue and orange. Okay, let's see what I can do about that. I bet it took it down a little bit, but it's also making my shadow color, my brown shadow color, blue. Yeah, that's crazy. I bet I'm just gonna have to base it with another color and go back and fix it. Yeah, I'm just gonna kind of wick away some of this because I'm not that into it. This is not going to be a whole get a lot of stuff done quickly stream, unfortunately. It's just not. Though I really want to finish this because I have an idea. I think it would be really fun to... So I'm really into tarot cards, and I think it would be fun to draw a tarot card and try and find a mini and paint it that is sort of representative of that tarot card. I could probably think of how I would do it with most of them, but I bet there would be one in there that would be really challenging. So I kind of want to do that and make it sort of like, not necessarily a contest, but an activity that we could do. I would have to make it sort of long term because I take so long to do stuff that if I'm going to be involved, we need a lot of time to do it, but I'm sort of excited about that. And I actually wish, I don't know how popular it would be, but I actually wish we could do a tarot themed, like the way we did the Zodiac. But it'd be huge, right? So you'd have to just pick a few. Which happens. You headed out?
Yeah.
I'm streaming. Dave's here. Be careful, there's cacti, and they are sharp.
Hello, Platinum fans.
Yeah.
Okay.
Have fun. I'll see you soon.
Yeah, tomorrow, Monday at 9.
Monday at 9.
Alrighty.
I don't know if I talked about that, but I went to this cactus boutique. Yeah, I went to this cactus boutique in Dallas, and it was one of the coolest experiences ever. So it was in, what was it? I think it was an old historic building that was a Sears catalog building. So not an old Sears, but a catalog building. And it was so neat. They had the prettiest wood floor and just giant, almost like a mall. They had this inner, atrium, and you could look out the window and you could see the center down where it like had a doorman kind of thing, like a people at the front desk, and it was really cool. So really sort of trendy apartment building in near, if you're familiar with Dallas, it was near Gillies. Is that the Southside Ballroom? I don't remember. But anyway, so I go to this cactus boutique, and there are so many cactuses. Like, what? Clavica said my house was ordered from a Sears catalog. No way. Like the plans? Bye. That was Reaper Harley. So I go to this cactus boutique, and I fell in love with, like, I told myself I'm going to get one cactus. I got 1, 2, 3, 4. I think I got 4 cactuses. And the ones I picked, so they had one called a hairbrush, and I got that because I was like, oh, cool, it'll be the Reaper hairbrush that, like the Reaper airbrush. So I had to have that one, and it was cute, and because I was a hairdresser, right? I have a hairbrush. And I got this one, let's see, it doesn't show really well. Where is it? Oh, it might just blend too much because oh no, right there. That guy is a kind of a bluish cactus, a blue myrtle, and I really wanted a silver torch, but they were pretty expensive and I already had 3, so I got a little silver torch. But I ended up picking 2 that were really, really sharp, and I'm so accident prone that they mess me up. And now I'm attached to them. I don't have the heart to give them up because after the burn, I stayed with my boyfriend and got to see his cactuses every day. And I was kind of like, oh man, I should have got the totem or whatever. And he said, well, we could trade if you want. Because I think he was in love with the blue. I don't remember what that one was called. I'll think of it. But he was in love with that one. And it was funny when I was buying it, he kind of told the lady, like, we're not sure where that one's going to go. And I was like, yeah, we are. It's going to go in my office. Whatever. They can be cactus brothers one day, but for now it lives in the office. Yeah, it's they're pretty sharp. Takes me back to being a kid, and my grandma had a really sharp cactus, and pretty much sort of a rite of passage. Everybody got stuck in it a few times, fell in it, whatever. But yeah, it was a really neat experience. I think her name is the Cactus Queen. I think it's the Cactus Queen, but she's got an Instagram. It's really neat. Real neat. Let me just look that up so I can talk about that real quick. Who knows if I'll ever come back to that. I might as well plug that while I have the chance. Yeah, it's called Cactus Queen, and the Instagram is my cactus bad, my cactus hood. And yeah, huge selection of cactuses. And she actually gave me advice on my plants because I have a window that's pretty tiny, like a pretty tiny little window that's pretty high. So all my plants can't go in there, and I can't put a whole bunch of plants in there because then it'll block the plants that get light just from the window flowing in. So yeah, so she told me that light reflects off of white surfaces really well. So you can kind of set up a white surface and the light will bounce off of it and get to everything. So I'm in the process of moving my plants around to see who likes what and who can survive. Like, I don't know. There are some that really would like more light but are too big to fit in the window. Like I've got an aloe and a palm plant that I think would be happier in the window but can't fit. And then of course the cactuses, there's no way they're going to fit. But yeah, that's my my plant lady corner for now. I'm by no means a good plant lady, but I'm keeping them alive. I've killed 2 orchids now, so I think I'm done with orchids at least for a little bit. Not for novice plant owner plants, or at least me. They don't vibe with me. Okay, let's see. Clavicus said, back in the day, you could order a whole house from Sears. When it was delivered, you had to put it all together. My grandparents ordered one. I have that house now. That's so neat, and I think we're actually going back to that. I think we're seeing a lot of that sort of thing. Like, I just read about a house being 3D printed. That the first 3D printed house was being lived in. And I don't think it was in the US, but I could be wrong. Such a wild, like, we're looking at alternative homes, I think, for the first time in a while. Let's see. During my worst headache years, chocolate was my top 2 trigger foods. My motto for it, to explain to people the level of risk, was the darker the chocolate, the faster the headache will start. Gosh, that sucks. I can't wait till we learn more about headaches and migraines in particular because so many people, like, they're so different. I was listening to this guy that had ocular migraines in college. Oh my God, that sounds so scary. The only thing that I've noticed, and I might just not be as vigilant as what's going on when it happens, but mine are kind of cyclical. Like throughout my cycle will be a little different. And then the other thing I've noticed, and I've never heard anybody else say this, but I will sometimes use weird, like incorrect words in a sentence and not notice when I'm about to have a migraine or right after and during whatever. And I will drop things. Like it's like I'm holding things and I don't know, like I'm not holding them well. So things will just slip out of my hands a lot. And the first one, uh, so I worked at a coffee shop. I worked at lots of coffee shops, or three coffee shops, but I worked at a coffee shop when I think I was, I think I was 20. And I worked at a Nordstrom coffee shop and I loved it. It was so much fun. But one night we had this old computer that that held the receipt, like the receipt of everything we had done that day. Like this giant kind of report that we had to take out every night. So imagine, like instead of a tower, it was one of those flat horizontal computers, but you could open it up and you had to pull the receipt paper out. And I got a migraine and we worked alone, like pretty often. At night, you would close alone. I told my manager I had a migraine and she was like, well, really nobody can relieve you. So you kind of just have to wait it out. So I waited it out. I finally make it to the end of the day and get everything clean, get everything closed. And I open up, I have to pick the monitor up off of that computer to get into the little receipt compartment. And I dropped the monitor, like broke it, like hard, like just dropped it right on the floor. It was horrible. Pissed my manager off so bad. Like the next time I came in, I kind of like sneaked in. I was like, hey, I'm really sorry. And I didn't get it at the time, but knowing what I know now, I bet it was a migraine thing. But yeah, it could just be like you feel so bad you don't have any strength. Hi, Skelsey. But I think that was my first headache that was really bad my whole life. Other than ice pick headaches, I think I've always had ice pick headaches, but I think those are something different. Man, mini painting makes me wish I had like supervision. And I sure do not. So, like, kind of back on the home thing, I'm going to be moving within the next year. I'm going to be moving out of my grandparents' house. We'll sell it, whatever. And I'm starting to think about where I'm going to move, what I'm going to do. And if you're in DFW, or probably anywhere at this point, but especially DFW, we're growing so fast and it's getting so expensive that people will sell their house in California, for example, for so much money, and then they can get so much more for their dollar here. So they'll come in and they'll buy things, above asking or at asking. It kind of makes it really difficult and it drives prices up. So it's so expensive that for somebody that's, whatever, not in that position, it's kind of hard to find housing that doesn't just break you and not rent forever. Which renting, like, I'm sure if I bought a house, I would be like, I was so wrong about renting. It's so much better. If my AC breaks, they come and fix it. But whatever. So like, I've been thinking about tiny houses And you look into that, and that's kind of expensive too. And I don't think it's as easy to get a loan and do it. But uh, see, I was listening to Matthew McConaughey talk about this a lot, and he was talking about how everywhere sort of has its own vibe, and he would really like it if Austin, for example, because a lot of people are going to Austin, if Austin kept its vibe. And he was sure to mention he didn't mean the way you vote as much as kind of who you are and the level of community and being real chill and nice, I think. So I think we should totally be welcoming. And the deal is, this is something that's going on in my hometown. I come from this super small town, or at least that's where I went to school. Oh, you know what I'm doing? Guys. I am messing with my levels on my camera. Oh my god. I apologize. I'm the worst. Okay. So I come from this super small town, and the parents, the people that have moved there, and a lot of people have moved there recently. Now they really don't want anybody else to move in. They want it to stay the same size. So they're fighting this development because the development contains apartments. They don't want apartments there, and they don't want it to get big. And it's like, it's kind of the point where you want to live in a small town, you need to move north. I mean, you just kind of need to roll with it. Some of the biggest towns, like right next to DFW Airport, like if you took DFW Airport in to come to ReaperCon, right next to it is South Lake. And South Lake's now big, and it has a lot of retail, and it has a lot of houses. And I hate to be this old person, but when I was a kid, it was just pastures. Oh, thanks, Francis. Thanks for the sub. I meant to mention, for every 5 subs, we're going to give away 2 paints and a pokey tool. And I'm going to try, and we'll make them mystery paints, but what I'm going to try and do is throw in a ReaperCon preview paint. I'm going to try to. With me pumping this week, things are going to be a little weird. So, but yeah, so the area is growing, and I think you just kind of have to roll with it and not be like bitter or angry about it. If people want to come here, it's flattering and it's great. Everywhere is different. It all has its, I don't know, but thank you anyway, i5 Paints. I'm sure it showed and I just missed it. It's been really hard not having a Justin. I kind of hate it. But it's easier for production, which is really why I'm here. I don't just stream, so I gotta kind of do what I can. I don't know. I love California. That's one of the places that I've never lived, but I feel a real tie to. And my big thing, I think I've talked about this last time, is I like to watch these videos of people driving around, and Los Angeles is one of my favorites, or else the Pacific Coast Highway, I think, the 101, going up the coast of California, like into Oregon, right? California, Oregon, Washington? Yeah. Let's see, Hawaii is kind of like that. They want to keep the old island lifestyle, but so many people are coming in and everything is becoming more urban. Yeah. Like, I really would like, thank you, T. McDuff, for the sub. I really would like, I don't know, I had this moment a few years ago where I sort of looked out on this hill and thought, I'm kind of experiencing this as the first people who settled this area, or the people that lived on this land originally saw it, and I would love to see everywhere like that. And it makes me really sad, and it gives me this, I don't know, it just gives me this heartache. But we have more people, and people need to live places, and can't really complain about that. And with more people, I don't know, maybe we have more opportunity to change and get better. With more ideas, different vibes. I think that's a good thing. But I am with McConaughey as far as like, yeah, I think everywhere should kind of have its own vibe. It is kind of nice that different cities have their own vibe, that everywhere's not the same. I don't even know if you could make it all the same. I don't know if you could take away, like around here, it's Fort Worth versus Dallas. Like Fort Worth, they still run cattle through the street, I think, at a certain point. So it sort of has a weird Western vibe. And Dallas, to me, has more of like a cleaner sort of. I need to think of another adjective, but clean is the vibe I get. More modern, maybe, is what I'm looking for. I was talking to my boyfriend about this, and I really love Austin, and I've told Ed this, and Ed thinks that Denton is the new Austin. And I was telling my boyfriend, I think Denton's just so much more smug. And he was like, no, Austin is smug too. And I was kind of like, no, it's not. And he was like, yeah, it's a little smug. It's a little full of itself. It's a little, oh, look at me, I'm Austin. So I don't know. Maybe I don't remember what the term is, but there's this feeling that your own home, usually country, isn't great and everywhere else is, which is the kind of opposite of my home country is great and nobody else's is. But there's this one that's like, I don't know, growing up in a small town, everybody says, this is a small, like, little microcosm of it. Everybody says, like, oh, this town's a shithole or whatever. My friend called the town I grew up in Hell's Crotch, Texas. Hell's Crotch, Texas. And now it's getting bigger, and it's everything I would like. I hate to disagree with these parents, but it's everything I would have wanted when I was younger. Is more diversity and more experiences and everything. And while it wasn't completely devoid of that, it wasn't as much as when I went to a school in a bigger city. I don't know. Different strokes for different folks. Yeah, I5 paints. I really like Black Pearl. It came with its own challenges, but I really liked it. I like it. So yeah. Let's see. I'm about at the end. Let's see. 2 subs. I think we got 3 subs. Got i5 paints. Yes, now I do see that. Sorry about that. i5 paints. Thank you. 1, 2, 3. I think we might have gotten 4. I don't think we're doing a giveaway today. But maybe on one of these Reaper cons we can do a giveaway. I don't know. I don't know if they're ever doing any real giveaways anymore. Yeah, I don't see any other ones. Yeah, so I don't think we're going to do a giveaway this week, but that's okay. We're getting back in the swing of things, getting back to streaming. Hopefully I'll be more consistent. I need to be. But yeah. So I think I'm going to end right on time today because I need to rest. I've got a big week ahead of me of being a production worker, putting my production worker hat on. But, oh no, knocking stuff over. Oh, that's okay. Never feel pressured. And don't gift and drive. That's scary and dangerous. But yeah, this is kind of what we've got going. The skin is a little more loose. Skin is a little more brown, but it's pretty. I like it. Oh, Francis, thank you. Okay, so we're gonna do 1 giveaway today. 2 mystery paints and a pokey tool. So get your hashtag free and hold on. Oh my goodness, thank you. Actually, don't get your hashtag free in until I do this. Okay, I opened the giveaway, so enter hashtag free and we will draw a name. I'll just put this lady here. Okay, perfect. Yes, Francis, you're awesome. Thank you, thank you. All right. I'll put up my paints to give everybody a chance to do that. I moved my printer out of here when I was home, like messing around on my computer at home when I was healing, and I haven't brought it back up here, so I have this little under desk space, which is really nice for paints because this whole streaming process, a big part of it is how do you make everything accessible and not have it in the way? That's the big thing. And it's difficult. Probably a lot of building upward. Spoons, I'm mostly healed. The areas that are really bad are like there's not like a nice way of like just like raw almost. Very sensitive and thin, and so I still move certain ways that hurt. And I tried to move when I had it. Like I would do as much as I could during the day until I kind of noticed that my body didn't like it. But I do this thing when I stand all day where I fold one leg up and rest it on whatever. It's probably not very good. I've never seen it in yoga, which makes me think that it's not great, but I do it. And I did it the other day and it hurt so bad. So I'm not done yet. I had no idea this could happen. Oh my God, PSA. If you order coffee from somewhere, have them put ice in it. It's so not a joke. I never really thought about the whole like coffee burn situation thing, but oh my God, it's horrible. I'm very thankful that I had somebody to help me and that we keep ice packs in the freezer. So yeah, that's my PSA of the day is keep ice packs in the freezer and get ice in your coffee. Like tell them put it in the bottom. Oh my God, it's so hot. But on the way to better, I think I'm out of the woods as far as getting an infection or having it get worse. So that's good, but it's no joke. It's pretty crazy. And the worst part is it made me so anxious. Like, I have never been so anxious, and I think it's just because you're going along and all of a sudden everything's, you know, shitty, shitty, sucks, difficult. And that's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of the world we live in. It's kind of um, being a human is that there are surprises and bodies hurt and yeah, nothing's perfect. But yeah, I'm like 95% better, I would say. And now, okay, so like in the beginning it was like, oh, I've had this experience and it reminds me how much pain there is out there. And now that I've healed, I can think when this happened, I had to tell myself it hurt so bad before I could get pain medicine. I had to tell myself, breathe through it and this will be over. And in a few weeks, it won't hurt anymore. So now I'm kind of riding that wave of, oh, I had something that hurt really bad, but I feel really good now. It's almost like you don't know how good it is, good things are until you kind of see the bad. So I'm mobile and I'm independent and it's great. Um, awesome, Spoons. Yeah, we'd love to see you on Saturday. I'm gonna try and be more consistent on Saturday and maybe go a little longer. And I think next week we'll draw a tarot card and we'll talk about a sort of theme. Like maybe we'll browse. I don't think I'll pick one mini, but I think I'll sort of browse and see what I can find that represents it to me. And maybe we'll do like a little painting challenge, a little painting platinum painting challenge. Um, so yeah. So better. Yeah, Francis said order kids temperature beverage. It's totally true. Um, we could do that. I think John usually does the RCL. I try to not I try to not step on any toes on anybody's business because I know that if I had my own little thing, I'd be like, "That's my little thing. You don't get to get in on my little thing." But he might be into it because he did say that that was pretty popular, that the tarot thing was pretty popular, which is great. It seems like just yesterday the tarot thing was something that made you a spooky kid. Not good times. So, oh, only do iced coffees. Yeah, exactly. I've been back on it, but with espresso with uh, cold half and half in it. So it's not like really hot. Yeah, I should just suggest it to him. I'm so shy. I'm such a weenie. And I've known John for, I don't know, probably a decade. And I'm still such a weenie. I'm still like, oh, nobody wants to hear what you have to say. Go to your paint dungeon or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Okay, so we're going to do our drawing. We're going to draw our winner for today. You're going to get 2 paints and a pokey tool. All right. Clavicus 81 is our winner today. So if you um, type in hashtag I won something question mark, it will give you um, it will give you the instructions for what to do when you win, which is the email. Be sure to include the stream that you won on and the number. So this would be Painting Platinum 61, and that'll generate your little giveaway order. So internet can get you taken care of. So yeah, good week, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Um, I really love spending time with you guys, and I'm excited about ReaperCon coming up. I'm sure some of you will be hanging out with us at ReaperCon, even though it's going to be a smaller event. I don't know how much I will be there. I usually kind of, again, hide in the little paint dungeon. So, yeah. So yeah. But I'm sure I'll see you because I think we're going to do tours this year. I think. I hope. So, uh, paint dungeon, so like an Iron Maiden with paintbrushes in it to stipple you to death. Yeah, something like that. For sure. All right, well, I'm going to find a raid for us. Let's see. Art. Let's see if we've got something kind of similar to our hobby, or at least an aesthetic that jumps out at me. Oh, that's not in English, and I think Justin wanted me to stick to English. Oh, okay. So I found my like backup if I don't find anything new. Somebody I really like, but I don't want to overdo it with people. Lots of drawing on Twitch. I like it. I like that a whole lot. Lots of anime. Oh, that's in Spanish too. A lot of cool stuff in the Spanish speaking Twitch community. Okay, this looks kind of different. But it's called a Pokemon from memory competition, who can get closest. So let me see you later. Yeah, you've got to come tour. It's really great. So let's see. It really is a nice home away from home. Let me, Ben. I don't think that's how you do it. Now I don't remember how to raid people. This is the problem I had all day. Let me see. Oh, I found it. I know now. Okay, so we're gonna raid Ben Flint doing the Pokemon from Memory competition. Who can get closest? Because who doesn't love Pokemon? All right, see you guys later. Love you. Take care. Be safe. Mwah.